everybody, welcome to 2020, first day of the year. Also, changing my name on my channel, going to Jonathan David as opposed to Life's a Kitchen. Mainly doing this to better encompass the direction I want to take it. So, with that said, today's video I'm going to be talking about two very popular online brokerages and what you should be using in 2020 between the two. These are going to be M1 Finance and Robinhood. This video we're going to kind of talk about the pros and cons of each, how they compare, which ones I would recommend depending on your goals, as well as kind of just a general overview and go through the various aspects of each. Both of these online brokerages are taking advantage of the recent trend of having zero trade commission. This is something that Robinhood had popularized back in 2015 when they went public, and has kind of since impacted everybody from Charles Schwab to TD Ameritrade. All these big brokerages now offers zero trade commissions. However, we're going to focus on Robinhood and M1 Finance in this video because both of them I think are very capable, very easy to use, and I would definitely recommend them depending on what your circumstances are. So going into that, I would just like to say, there is no reason not to use a online brokerage in today's day and age. In 2020, 2019, everything is so much easier when you can just compare to even 10 years ago. Nowadays, you have a smartphone, you can download these apps. Everything is a click of the button away from investing and saving for your retirement or whatever financial goals that you may have. This being said, I think everybody needs to take advantage of this. The younger you are, the better. It allows your money to have more compounding growth, which in another video I'll kind of go through the effects of that, but it is substantial. If you start now, you can literally save a modest sum, and you're going to be able to retire or achieve your whatever goals you have so much easier than even if you wait 10 years. And so, in both those, I encourage you to open an account today. That's the biggest thing. And if you like my channel, please help me out and subscribe. I'm going to put some links to Robinhood and M1 Finance. If you're able to join through those links, we'll both get free stock or cash. It helps us out, helps you out, and it gets you kind of into the investing world. So with that, let me first talk about Robinhood. So Robinhood is the firm that started all of this online free trade craze in terms of commission, and now it's common for everything. As I mentioned, it launched in 2014. It's a free brokerage that was mobile only, but as of a year or 2 years ago, they kind of have an online web interface. So now you can check it not only on your smartphone, which is probably the predominant way most people monitor their Robinhood kind of goals and activity, but you can also do it on your laptop, and you kind of get a little bigger picture, little capabilities that may not be on the mobile version and whatnot. And on this, in Robinhood, what you can do, you can trade stocks, you can trade ETFs, you can trade cryptocurrencies. Some things you can't trade, like you can't do bonds, you can't do mutual funds, and some of those things. And one of the things to note is this is really ideal for somebody that has retirement accounts somewhere else. Here you can do, really it's just what we call individual taxable accounts. So this is stuff where, you put your after-tax money in, and any gains or losses, you also have tax implications on that as well. So that's what that means. So if you're looking for doing something like a traditional IRA or a Roth IRA or SEP IRAs or whatever other retirement vehicles are out there, Robinhood quite doesn't have that capability. But before I go into more of that, both these programs are both, SPIC and FINRA covered. These are kind of federal regulations and protections that are given to you, where it really protects you in case these brokerages were to go under. Now, it doesn't protect your liability if you have trades that go down in value due to trading practices and whatnot, but it's good to know that your money is safe in the event the brokerages were to not be solvent. So both those have that covered. So let's go and kind of to the what I would consider the pros of using Robinhood. So what's nice about Robinhood is it really takes $0 to get started. That's right, $0. How many banking accounts even have that? Not many, right? Usually you got to put down $5 or $100 or whatnot. So Robinhood is zero. They also have zero commissions. So all you do is you download the app, which is in the link below, as well as you can start trading right away. Now, one thing with all these trading apps is, once you start investing, you do have a couple day delay, mainly to counter any fraud activity. So if you put money in when you link it to your bank account, it takes 2 to 3 business days for it to actually show up into your Robinhood account, and then you can trade. Now, one of the pros I like about Robinhood is that they have this thing called Robinhood Instant. And this essentially, it opens up sort of a margin account in your Robinhood. And if you don't understand what that means, it kind of means you're leveraging kind of what your, in this case, your bank value is in terms of your finance. So if you're putting in, $1,000 in the Robinhood, you're going to have access to $1,000 immediately. Note that this Robinhood Instant is only limited to up to $1,000, but it does allow you to trade and not have to wait those 2 to 3 days, which is definitely a great feature to have. Not many other brokerages have this. Other things are stock trades, they're $0, but there are limitations if you are having ambitions to being a day trader. There's definitely federal guidelines or regulations that impact that, but for the long-term holding trading, this is probably the way to go. Everything's free to start, no commissions on trades, so it's good. In addition, Robinhood does offer options trading. They also offer being able to trade mutual funds, and to recap, their investment types are going to be your stocks, your ETFs, your options, and other things, as well as crypto. And another cool thing about Robinhood is that you have the ability to trade within the day. M1 Finance, as we'll talk about, you don't have that ability. So in Robinhood, once markets open, you can trade all the way until they close. So you can kind of see what the intraday activity is looking like. So that's kind of pretty nice about that. The big news, and probably one of the most requested features when it comes to Robinhood, is the ability to buy fractional shares. Now, this hasn't gone live yet out to everybody. I know there's been a lot of coverage on it, but it is definitely a perk to have, in the sense, like, when you look at your bigger stocks like Amazon and Google and all these other ones, typically what you had to do is you had to buy full shares in whole. So and that was one of my biggest pet peeves about Robinhood. Is like, I'd really like to buy, say, Apple or Amazon. You'd have to come up with, I think, Amazon's over $1,000 right now, so you'd have to have all $1,000 in order to buy that one share. With fractional trading, you can definitely buy $10 on Amazon and get whatever that fractional percent is, right? 1% of it. So that is a definitely big perk, and that's, right now there's a wait list to get on it, but that's something that will be going live. Now, Robinhood also has a cash management account, so think of it as like a high yield savings account. If you want to kind of store all your cash there that's not being invested, that's definitely another perk to have. And they do have some paid tiers, so you can get some different options based on your membership, but the free platform is pretty well worth it. The other big thing I like about it, and what the big appeal is, and why I encourage everybody to at least go into it, it has a very clean and simple interface. As you can kind of see here, it's like everything's very easy, but this does come at its own expense. You can't have a clean and simple interface and have all the bells and whistles that you may see in your bigger brokerages, but you also don't pay any fees. So it's definitely something to consider. Cons, on the other hand, right now, Robinhood only provides taxable individual accounts. So you're not looking at having any retirement accounts. You're not looking at having any kind of trust accounts or anything like that. You're not able to do any bond trading, and you're not able to reinvest any dividends. You will get dividends if you invest that in accordingly, but you won't be able to reinvest it. And that's one thing that is probably a feature that will be coming in the future. There's been all this other kind of a competition between these brokerages and what features they can offer. So I wouldn't be surprised if Robinhood does offer a form of this in one aspect or another, but right now they do not have it. Another big thing is they do not have really good customer support. Everything's done via email. There's no phone number to give them a call, so any issues with your account, will have to be done via email. So something to consider with Robinhood. It hasn't been a huge deterrent for my end, but I would say something to just be aware of. And the last con that I have with it is there's very limited research capabilities within the app or the website itself. This I don't think is a big issue, mainly because you have a lot of different sources to kind of do your research. Like you have Seeking Alpha, you have Yahoo Finance, you have all these different things where you can read up about whatever you want to invest in, but within the platform, it doesn't really have it. But like if we were to switch gears into M1 Finance, what's cool about this one is that, while Robinhood was founded in 2014, M1 Finance was not too far behind in 2015, and it's another brokerage that offers free trading as of 2017, but it takes a unique approach compared to Robinhood. Whereas Robinhood, you have all control. You buy whatever stocks you want to put in, and you invest accordingly. Whereas what I like about M1 Finance is they have what these things are called pies. And think of it as a budget for your investing. You get to predetermine the allocations of which you're going to be putting your finances into. And what's cool is even if you didn't have a clue, there's a lot of pre-made pies that are supplied by M1, and this is on their app and their website. So you can take a look. Like if your goal is to have a high risk, high reward type pie, or a dividend pie, or a save for school pie, or whatever, they have different portfolios that would meet those goals. So that is really cool. And in my case, I did a lot of the custom, like I want to have a little control, but it's nice having that set up. So you set up as terms of percent. Think of like a pie, circular. So you have, the whole circle make 100, and then so each component is going to have a various percent you put weight to. So if you want to make a pie that's like 50% technology stocks and 50% energy stocks, you can do that very easily, which is really cool. And then whatever amount you put in will be invested accordingly. So if you put in $100, 50 bucks each would go into those segments that you had pre-allocated. So other pros they are, as I mentioned, trades are free. It also offers the same things as Robinhood, stocks, ETFs, and in this case also bonds, which Robinhood did not. But this one does offer bonds, but it doesn't offer any cryptocurrencies. And you're also able to kind of have greater automation of what you're investing. So instead of having Robinhood where you're putting all your money in, you're telling it exactly, hey, I want to buy this stock or this amount of stock or whatever. In M1 Finance, you're able to, as I said, preset it, and then every time you have a balance that's over 10 bucks in your cash reserve, it will automatically invest that the next trading day. As far as I'm aware, there is no equivalent to the Instant that Robinhood has in M1 Finance, but it really doesn't matter. This is really, I think, more of a tool geared for those that are wanting a kind of a passive approach to investing that's a little bit automated with that individual customization in terms of what you're investing in. So as you'll see through this program, when you sign up, is that it will invest every day during a single trading window. So you don't have that intraday trading, which can be a con or a pro depending on how you look at it. Because really you're trying to just invest towards your goals, and that intraday swings aren't really going to be, I would say, important at this stage. But as with this, if you're putting in money in, you're not going to be able to buy all these stocks. So at once, like in Robinhood where it used to. Now going to fractional shares is kind of a moot point, but M1 Finance also supports that fractional share and kind of has to by default, right? So if you're building your pie up and you're investing, 50 bucks a week, it's going to spread that amongst many different stocks. And the only way to do that feasibly is to do fractional shares. While another good pro that M1 Finance has that was a con of Robinhood is that M1 Finance, it reinvests your dividends. I say that with a caveat because it's not a dividend reinvestment program or drip is what they call it. It's more, you get your dividends and goes into your cash balance, and then it'll reinvest it amongst all your portfolios. A traditional drip will reinvest the dividends into the stock that provided the dividends. This is a nice compromise, in my opinion. I think really if you set yours up accordingly, you're going to want to fund your entire portfolio how you want to maintain your allocation percentages that you set up in M1 Finance. So while it's not a true drip, it's still very, very good. And it also supports a wide variety of account types in comparison to Robinhood. Here you have your taxable, you have your retirement accounts, you have your trust accounts. Like Robinhood, it also has a checking account feature, as well as a borrowing, where it kind of allows you to borrow against your portfolio. I haven't really played around with that too much, but it's kind of an interesting feature to have, depending on whatever goals you may be encountering. Like Robinhood, has a mobile and a online presence. Additionally, has a decent amount of research capability built in, and you do have support via the phone as well as email, as opposed to just email via Robinhood. Cons, compared to Robinhood, doesn't offer the options trading. It doesn't have any crypto. In my case, I'm not really too involved in that, so I don't really feel that con necessarily. The other con, as I alluded to, was trades are not executed in real time. You set your money in and then it gets invested on a certain trading window, which is typically for the free platform. There are different tiers. They have M1 Gold, or M1 Plus, and that can open you up to having 2 different trading windows within the platform. But typically your trades are going to be done at 8 a.m. Eastern time, whenever you have a cash reserve balance of over $10 to be invested. And the other con is, unlike Robinhood, it does require a minimum balance to get started, which is $100, which is fairly nominal, but it is something that to be aware of. You can't just put $5 in and get going. So in summary, I think this is a pretty good comparison between the two. You can tell there's a little bit of tweaks between their objectives, but in short, in terms of recommendation, I would recommend both. It really depends on your goals, right? In my case, I do use both. If you want to have a more automated experience, and you want to kind of have your allocation preset, you kind of know exactly what sort of portfolio you want to have, I would say M1 Finance would be best suited for your needs. As well, it has a little more guidance in terms of trying to whatever goals you're trying to achieve. There's a lot of different research that you can look at. Now, if you just want your if you already have your retirement account somewhere else and you're really looking at getting involved heavily in one stock and you don't really care about pre-allocation of your investments, and Robinhood's the way to go, especially now fractional shares. You can build up your own portfolio, but you're going to have to be more on top of what percents are you having in different sectors if you're trying to keep it balanced. In my case, I use M1 Finance I'm trying to build up a dividend portfolio. Robinhood, I use it for kind of exploring different stocks. It's kind of my, I use quite a few different brokerages, and Robinhood's kind of more my I would say, trial one, because it's more, all my other ones are more or less automated, and I have them in pretty big indexes, and Robinhood's where I kind of play around with the individual stocks. So I think you can't go wrong with both. I think it's a good platform. Both are good platforms to get started in, and I think everybody owes it to themselves to get started investing. And I couldn't recommend these two enough. They're great platforms to get started, and you can always evaluate your needs as you need in terms of brokerages. And then if you're interested in signing up, I have included both these links below in my description here, and I encourage it. Until next time, feel free to write any comments or questions. I will be happy to answer, and I'll be talking to you guys soon. Thanks.